So, you want to hear a story about how a simple plan can just completely explode? This isn't just any story. It's a perfect look at a Dungeons & Dragons campaign that started as a basic escort mission and somehow spiraled into a saga of murder, mayhem, magical lawsuits, and, well, a talking cat. It's a fantastic example of how, when people tell a story together, things can get wonderfully, unpredictably chaotic.
And this quote right here, from the Dungeon Master, the person actually running the game, it just perfectly sums up the whole thing. This was supposed to be a short one-semester adventure, but as we're about to see, the players' choices took this thing to places that no one, not even the guy who created it, could have ever seen coming.
All right, let's set the scene. Our group of heroes gets a classic job offer: escort a man named Simon and his mysterious box to an island far away. Sounds simple, right? Get the guy in the box to the destination. Collect your cash. What could possibly go wrong? And, the first few steps go pretty much as planned. The adventure is humming along smoothly. They even have a nice chat with a friendly merchant. But then, we get to step 4. After this pleasant little trade, the party's rogue, a character named Divine, decides, hey, I'm going to pick that guy's pocket. And she does. But her own teammate sees the whole thing. And this right here is the first big crack in the foundation. One of Divine's own friends, a half-celestial named Fingal, spots the theft. And just like that, the entire group turns on her. They tie her up, drag her to a church to get a magic curse put on her so she can't steal anymore, and she is so furious that her new personal mission becomes getting revenge on her old friends. The team hasn't even gotten on the boat yet, and it's already completely falling apart. So next, the party gets on the ship, the Salty Dog, and they're probably thinking they left all their drama back on shore. As you can probably guess from the slide, they are very, very wrong.
The morning after they set sail, they find a teeny tiny problem with their escort mission. The guy they're supposed to be escorting, Seaman, has been murdered. Their one job is now a total failure. Their client's dead, they're stuck on a boat in the middle of the ocean, and one of the people on board is a killer.
Luckily, or maybe unluckily, this group has a very strange solution. Remember that merchant who got his pocket picked? Well, during that trade, they got their hands on a magical wand of reincarnate. Now, this spell isn't like a clean, simple resurrection. Oh no, it rips a soul out of the afterlife and just shoves it into a new, often totally random body.
So, they use the wand and their client pops back to life as a centaur. Yup. A half-man, half-horse. He has no memory of who killed him, and what's worse, he's now way too big to even leave the lower decks of the ship easily. Their simple escort job has just morphed into a murder investigation where the victim is alive, but is now a mythological creature who's a logistical nightmare to protect.
So with their client turned centaur stuck below deck, they gotta figure out who did it. They use a magic candle that forces the crew to tell the truth, but nobody fesses up. Suspicion pretty quickly falls on the ship's doctor, Merrick. Fingal, the same guy who caught the rogue, sneaks into Merrick's cabin and finds all the proof he needs: an evil holy symbol and a letter spelling out a plot to take over the ship. When they confront Merrick, he makes a run for it, but they hunt him down and kill him. Problem solved, right?
Wrong, because solving one crime is about to lead them to commit a much, much more public one. This is the exact moment where the party's moral compass doesn't just get a little wobbly, it shatters into a million pieces, turning them from heroes into fugitives.
And this quote from Ray, the party's paladin, a character who is supposed to be a champion of law and goodness, it just says everything. Soon after they solve the murder, they run into 2 twin sorcerers. Ray senses that they're evil. The party surrounds them, the twins immediately surrender, and then Ray just straight up murders one of them after he'd already given up.
This one act of, let's call it what it is, vigilante justice, is the last straw. The party just implodes. The cleric, Agamar, is so horrified by this cold-blooded murder that he goes straight to the authorities to report his own friends. Ray, the paladin, turns herself into her church for punishment, and the rest of the party? They're now on the run, fugitives from the law.
This all leads to an actual in-game trial. Their original boss, a man named Mac, has to step in and hire them a lawyer. They're put on the stand in a magic zone of truth where they literally cannot lie. In the end, the murder charge gets knocked down to involuntary manslaughter, and they get away with a huge fine. The legal drama's over, but the chaos? Oh, the chaos is about to hit a whole new level.
So, with the trial behind them, you'd think things might finally calm down. But no. Instead, the story just barrels toward a conclusion that is somehow even more bizarre.
filled with more death, more weird magic, and some truly strange enemies.
Just look at this timeline of pure madness. After everything they went through to bring him back, Simon, the centaur, is killed again, this time by a fireball from some villains who keep showing up. Then, in that exact same fight, another party member, Lane, is also killed by a fireball. And what does the party do? The only thing they know how. They use the reincarnate spell again, and Lane comes back as a hobbit.
Let that sink in for a second. 3 times this party has had to magically bring someone back to life in a new, random body. At this point, death and reincarnation has basically become their standard operating procedure. And just when you think it cannot possibly get any stranger, the recurring bad guys, a duo the players nicknamed Team Rocket, show up again. But this time they have a new friend, a cat named Nyasu, a cat that stands on its hind legs, taunts the heroes, and openly talks about battle plans. They are now fighting an evil talking cat.
So the party is broken. They're basically outlaws, they're fighting cartoon villains who have a talking cat, they are dealing with constant death and rebirth, and right at that moment, when they are at their absolute lowest point, the final twist drops.
Thingol, the half-celestial rogue, the one who spotted the first theft, who solved the murder, probably their most competent member, is suddenly just teleported away. His mother, an actual angel-like being, summons him to go fight in a literal cosmic war between heaven and hell. He's just gone, leaving the battered, broken pieces of the party to somehow figure things out on their own.
And that's where the story is left hanging. It's just an incredible journey, from a simple delivery job to a multiversal conflict. A single theft snowballed into party betrayal, which led to a murder mystery, a vigilante killing, a full-blown trial, fighting villains with a talking cat, and finally, it ended with their best player getting drafted into a celestial war.
This is the real magic of these kinds of stories. It leaves us with one last question. With their leader gone, their enemies mocking them with a talking cat, and a track record of making every single situation worse, what on earth could this party possibly do next? The answer is probably something that no one, not even them, could ever predict.